And welcome back once again to the PCS Spring Split 2022. We got a couple more games to play to close us out on week number 2. And up first on the docket, it is PSG Talon bouncing back after their first game was a loss on the split. To go 4-1, taking on Meta Falcon team. The boys out of collegiate. Hi everybody, I'm Pyrotechnics. He is Nightstar, and our sponsors are of course CTBC Bank and Caliber. Thank you for making the Spring Split possible. And of course, all you, the viewers, thank you all for tuning in. So, this one, Nightstar, it feels like PSG have found their footing once again. It does seem like they've taken a little bit more time to do it, a little bit slower in this one. And that may give an opening, maybe just a small one, for Meta Falcon team's preferred style of play, that big old 5v5 wombo combo.
Yeah, it does seem like they're pacing themselves a little bit more, a lot differently from last year, where it felt like more pedal to the metal all the time. Not a whole lot of yes, it was measured to a certain degree, but it was predicated on aggression. This time around, this year's iteration is a lot more predicated about patience and being able to find those openings and take advantage and roll with those rather than force the door open.
And part of the reason why is they have, newer players in the jungle mid position right now. Juhan and Bei coming out of NS Red Force, challenger team out of Korea, being picked up and scouted by this squad. The rest of the core remains intact. Of course, you have Hanabi, Unified, and Kaiwing, mainstays of this region. However, they just hadn't been quite the same, and they lost their opening match against Beyond. But they've been able to pick up the victories all since, so it seems like until we're proven otherwise, PSG Talon definitely still sitting in that upper echelon, not quite at the level of CFO or Deep Cross Gaming, but close.
Yeah, there's still a lot to prove from PSG Talon. You could argue that the loss against BYG was really the only opponent that they've played that you would expect to be in that top half of the standings. And Meta Falcon team, another team that we don't necessarily expect to be contending in that top half. Although at the start, it felt like there was a little bit more. But we get to see the Meta Falcon team, Taco in the top lane, 665 in the jungle, Wen, Whale, Epoch, coming back into the roster after Ren Hao replaced him yesterday. And this team, it feels like a bit of a one-trick pony, but beyond sort of this one-trick draft style, I will say Taco has really popped off to me, at least in my eyes, and being able to carry a load. Of course, this is a rather heavy load given the fact that a lot of these drafts are very lopsided, and hoping that 665 and Taco get ahead and do a lot more damage that they're expected to do from those roles.
Absolutely. 665 coming into this roster was hyped as the carry. Hasn't really delivered or lived up nearly as much as Juhan on the other side has for PSG. While we were expecting Juhan and Bei to come as sort of a package carry duo, it definitely has been the jungler from PSG that has been carrying the weight on his side. Solid kill participation, and really just picking up a lot of the slack. On the other side, 665, I think we're still waiting to see a bit more from him. He's had some impressive champion picks, but not as much impressive champion performances. But that could change today, so it's an opportunity.
Absolutely. And given how PSG are a little bit more methodical, perhaps MFT could find that one big fight that gives them the opportunity to try and blow up the game. But PSG have just done such a well-calculated job in keeping track of junglers that it's going to be a very tall task for MFT to get the coin to flip heads.
Yeah, that's going to be the key for that one. So Banning away Taco Zakali seems to be good play, and of course the Diana has been a bit of a threat in 665's hands. Xin Zhao off the board on the other side, and of course an Aphelios ban, which is curious. Some teams have opted into this one, but we don't see the Zeri removed just yet. I feel like MFT have got to get rid of that third, because if they don't, Unified's going to have another field day.
Yeah, and the question is, what do you ban away? Because the Zeri or the Gwen should really just be that first pick here, whichever that they don't ban it. I mean,
it's open Zeri. This has got to be first pick.
I don't know what they're looking to plan here for the side of MFT. Maybe they want to go for the Twitch cheese that we saw Hurricane Gaming try and pull out. Unfortunately, to little success, because I mean, that early game was just disastrous. But MFT, they did make conscience decision to allow that through, and they will go for a very aggressive Tristana pick to try and match. So I like what at least they have a plan for it. We'll see how well it works out in this case. PSG currently hovering the Viego to try and match the Lee Sin, but the Hecarim has been a pick that's shown up lately that does outgank and outscale the Lee Sin, but they will pivot over towards the Viego.
Yeah, a little bit more risky, right? You really need to kind of feast your famine on this champion, but I think the confidence from PSG is there that they'll be able to do that to the MetaFalcon team side. So far, some deep damage threats. They can definitely give Bey his rise. I'm with you when it comes to Bey. I don't really like it because I feel like he opens up a lot more. His Syndra was so much more fun to watch, but hey, all right, I guess you need somebody to get you into the back line. All right, go ahead, Bey. Have a rise game. You've earned it.
I mean, with this rise pick, I fully expect some sort of engage to come out with the top or the support. I mean, clearly, Kai Wing, an elite engage support player. We'll see if Hanabi ends up being on Gragas duty on top of that. That could be a possible play with the Realm Warp. But we do need to see Bey be really active and in roaming around to these side lanes. Now, it will be a LeBlanc locked in for the side of MFT. This is a much different look from this squad. They are looking for a large pick composition, not that 5v5 12-minute or bust comp that we've consistently seen from them. So at the very least, they are changing some things up.
Yeah, I think they heard you, Nightstar. Yeah, I mean, after a while, you know, it's not working. You got to try something different. You got to go for a change. I like the LeBlanc. This is an interesting style of composition that we could see either great success or a full-on faceplant. But let's take a look at the rest of the bans before we get into any more speculation. 2 supports thrown Kai Wings away. No Braum and no Yuumi this time around. They still leave up some of the more, you know, like standard things like the Nautilus, though, the Leona. It's always an option. Kai Wing is perfectly at home on those champions. And also, critically, the Thresh is there if they wanted to use it.
Yeah, really, Kai Wing's bread and butter champs all left up available. It just really about, hey, we want the damage to stick coming in from this Lee Sin LeBlanc, so we want to remove the Yuumi. And we also want to remove the Braum, which is really good at just deterring all-in fights. Just full dive attempts because of that ultimate coming in. And they will go for the Nautilus pick here. I mean, clearly that's just going to have PSG just pivot towards the Leona.
Yeah,
it's not really too surprising. It's just kind of a handshake with the Nautilus Leona when it comes to engage supports. And now it's really about this last pick for the side of PSG. What do they go for in this top lane for Hanabi? If they go for this Gragas, it allows Taco to go for some sort of carry to match in that top side to try and go for a hull breaker top laner.
I mean, how about this focus from PSG on the top side? They clearly identified a threat in Taco. Just said, all right, you're not going to get to play any of the fun champions. What else you got? And I think you called it, Nightstar. No, wait a second. Last second shift off. It's going to be the Graves. So Hanabi blind up top side will get his first Graves game of the split. And what is that? A Darius for a Taco? Oh, boy.
All right, the insta-lock for the Darius top lane. It works well into low-range compositions, which is exactly what Ryze, Viego, Graves, and Leona are. However, you need to get snowballed in the early game. You need to be able to, once it hits that mid game and you join that first fight, you have to be monstrous to be able to just constantly run over him, because he's a very linear champion. So it's very easy for him to get kited out and get chipped down before he even gets in range to spin all over him.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to hinge pretty heavily on the lane phase. Every time I've seen a Darius topside, there is no like average laning phase. You either full on just snowball your lead, or you just die miserably and don't get to do anything all game. This is a statement for Meta Falcon team. They're saying it kind of is the center strategy. It's like, all right, either we win this hard or we just get stomped into the dust and go next.
Absolutely. They are, I mean, one of the reasons why we harped on their draft so hard was you look at their lane setups and it's like, okay, well, maybe we have a great 12-minute or second or third dragon 5v5 composition, but our lanes suck. We have no way of winning these lanes. Here, at the very least, these are very coin flip lanes, and if they get advantages, they can just run away with these lanes in a couple instances.
You are absolutely correct. Now, the one worry I have about topside for Taco is he's landing into quite possibly the most experienced weak side top laner in this entire region. Hanabi, I'm pretty sure Hanabi knows how not to lose this lane, this exact matchup. I'm willing to bet that.
It will be interesting to watch this top lane matchup because not many players do bring out, I'd imagine, the Darius and Scrims. So at the very least, Hanabi has identified one way of trying to deal with it, and that is going for the Ghost instead of the Flash. You need that extra move speed to kite out Taco, and now we will see when on a champion that's not just a mid lane bruiser that's looking to look for shove and just roam bot lane constantly. We are going to see a ranged champion that can also have solo impact on his own.
And also, keeping an eye on the bottom lane, I do want to see what Whale does on this Hail of Blades Tristana up against the likes of Unified on Zeri. I can't help but feel like this is a mistake. The last time Unified got his hands on this champion, he racked up a 25 KDA. It's a good champion, and Unified is probably the best bot laner in the league. With Doggo gone, I think there's really not a whole lot of question there, despite some iffy performances in the early parts of the split. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that Zeri was left open is always going to be a question mark in draft. And I mean, Zeri has just been omega bonkers when it comes to performance on this patch. We'll see how well it performs. I mean, MFT were clearly prepared for this matchup because they did opt for this Tristana very, very quickly, mind you. So fully prepared to take this matchup in, and hopefully they're looking for kills for sure, but Zeri, very difficult champion to lock down because of how much distance she can create with her jump.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? Is like you're going to try to match like range with range. Whale can leap in if he wants to, although he also wants to save that as an escape tool. A little easier to do it against Leona than the likes of like a Thresh who can still hook you through it. But also keeping an eye out topside. Taco, he's got his work cut out for him. A little bit behind early on, but he dings 3 just after. And, you know, it is a short range matchup, but technically it's still a range matchup. I feel like Darius does his best work into melees, and that's why we don't really see him a lot these days. Yeah.
It's really a lot better into... Oh, well, he misses the apprehend. That's trade over. Nothing more to come through that. That means Hanabi gets a lot more safety. He can be a little bit more aggressive with how he tries to get some poke in. But, I mean, ideally in this spot, you would just go ahead and reset and then come back. Because when you do play up against these non-teleport top laners, it's really about abusing your back timers because you have a lot more freedom in recalling and then immediately coming back to lane with a teleport.
Yeah, as long as you respect the combat summoners, for sure. Now, the mid lane has kind of gone pretty heavily in favor of Wen to start things off. I didn't really see what was going on with Bei there, but he does have a wave shoved into him, and Wen has just kept him on the back foot. Looks like he's sniffing to try and, there we go, stop the back. Ooh, that's got to sting for Bei. Not a whole lot of mana to work with here, and Wen was happy to take a tower shot. They also know where Juhan is, and not a whole lot of fear of him at level 4. I think Taco is perfectly happy to just sit this out as he dodges the end of the line.
And the big part is the fact that Bei is low on mana. That means Wen can afford to stay here because there's no... pretty sure there's not enough mana to go for the flash route coming in and lock down that Lullabong. But we still will see recalls coming out from the both of them. And so far, you know, when having a CS advantage, I mean, it's a lot better than what we've seen in a lot of other games coming in from him. And now
there
it's
we go.
going to
Yeah,
be
they do this. All right, got to respect those summoners, and you are going to get the Decimating Smash. 665 waiting, looking to line it up. Oh, the minion block! No! Oh, man. Hanabi thanking his minions for the assist on that one. Stops the gank short.
I kind of expected 665 to just go for a flash Q to flash around the minions, but now Wen could become in trouble. 665 going to face check.
Yeah, right into Juhan. Already half his health bar is deleted on that Blade of the Rune King. Now he's got a flash. Oh, things just got a little bit upside down there for the MFT jungler.
Absolutely. Now Juhan's going to have control over...
Oh, no.
Okay.
Has to find his own chickens.
Still fighting.
All right. That's aggro junglers.
Absolutely. But for 665, he does have a little bit more burst damage given the fact he has that pickaxe, right? So it's going to be a lot better for trying to get these executions early game. Do like that purchase in this instance, and not a whole lot happening, but MFT able to get themselves a small gold advantage. But as it stands for PSG, again, this composition is going to be a lot better as time goes on. And for MFT, they really need to find advantages during the lane phase. So for them to have small advantages here or there, it's not too wild. And it shouldn't be anything really to worry about if you're a PSG fan.
No, not at all right now. And honestly, a lot of confidence with the way this composition is built out. The way the roster started to develop, there's still a lot of questions that need answering. We probably won't get them all today. I think Juhan is certainly turned up as a carry, but this is definitely going to be a different squad. I mean, this isn't your grandfather's PSG anymore. There's no more Maple. He's over in the LPL. And Bei is kind of a mid laner of a different color. I really think that this Rise is... It's almost like a little bit of a trap for him. It's clearly some comfort, but I liked him so much more on these like burst mages like the Syndra. I want to see what he can do on more of those types of champions, especially because this meta certainly could suit it. But he's been on tank Rise duty, and you know what? Maybe that's just how the team wants to play.
And right here, he is level 7 now, so looking to start moving around the map. Perhaps get a play going down in that bottom lane, but for now he's got mid-wave controlled, which means that Juhan has the ability to go for this red steal and will be able to secure, knowing that, of course, 665, he went down bot side to secure that dragon.
Yeah, it's all a little bit of handshaking. So far this game is starting out a little bit similar to our J-Team Beyond game, but maybe for slightly different reasons. MFT are on a timer. They're going to try and react to it. But 665's been held far behind. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Epic
right
trying to hang with the PSG bot side. But this is oh so difficult. And Whale, you're walking to the wrong base, my dude. He does cleanse out.
Oh.
That's going to be dinging level 6. He's able to get the Buster, but Unified just blows him up.
Yeah, I think one champion's ult button is a little bit better than the other champions, and that's Zeri, able to just easily chase down both of these kills. They will start the side of MFT. They will try and play around this top side, knowing how strong, of course, the Dariuses and having Epoch on a faster recall timing, let's say.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, he gets there to the action first because he died. Genius.
He died faster. Look, sometimes you gotta fail fast so you can succeed later. Let's see how this skirmish started. Epic
They were
wanted
the ones looking for the fight.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, look, Whale's got 6 already, but Unified clearly levels up in the course of this. And, yeah, you jumping on Tristana, you need the reset.
Yeah, absolutely. And the core issue there is Whale wasn't able to quite participate in the fight fast enough. That's why once PSG turned after that aftershock fades, they just have a lot more battle stats.
Oh, but we've seen this movie before. Everyone from PSG is down bottom. It was a party down there. And Hanabi's job is now to just not die, and I think he might be failing at that. As the dunk goes through, it's so close, but he bleeds out anyways.
Oh, no.
But Taco! Oh, no!
Okay.
Oh, he almost made a snack out of himself.
He almost trolled that. Thought he needed a little bit more damage, but the bleed is more than enough to secure it in that instance. They still are able to secure that kill, but the cost is pretty hefty. PSG able to get yet another kill down in that bottom lane. You could start to see the separation come in the bot lane. CS, Bay makes his first roam down in this bottom side. They're shown on a control ward, but that doesn't really matter. You're able to rotate just, okay. They don't back off fast enough, and Epoch ends up being sacrificed in that instance. And up in the top side, I mean, we saw it live. He misses there, but he gets the dunk, and the bleed is more than enough. Almost ends up going 1-for-1 because he wasn't sure about the damage. And thankfully, he doesn't go down.
Yeah, that was, there's a few scuffed things about that, but that's okay. MFT do trade 1-for-1, but they find themselves down 2,000 gold at the moment due to that kill differential, and you can see it there on the screen. Whatever this bot lane was intending to do, I mean, we've seen people try unconventional picks to, if not counter, do something with this area. It just hasn't worked. The Apprehend goes in. Hanabi doesn't have summoners right now. Here's 665. I think they really want to drop this Rift Herald, but he does walk away, and Taco tanks a tower shot. Meanwhile, Wen now under fire in the mid lane, as Juhan, Kaiwing, and Bei just wave right by him.
All right. Wen just clearing out some of these minions and saying hello to the PSG trio squad right there. And Taco, he's still hunting. He's still hunting.
Taco wants the kills right now. He wants Hanabi.
He smells the weak side top laner.
This is not just a weak side top laner. This is the weak side top laner. Hanabi knows how to, he's a survivor, Nightstar. He knows how to not go down.
He does indeed. And that's all he needs to do in this matchup. As long as Darius doesn't get snowballed out of control, he's going to really struggle against the rest of PSG's lineup when it comes to these 5v5s. He essentially has to become a hullbreaker or bust kind of champion. And, I mean, Graves is just, in general, a lot more useful in these instances.
We see him more. I feel like I'm watching this top lane. I feel like I'm watching, like, a nature documentary, like narrated by like David Attenborough, like, and here we see the Darius in his natural environment attempting to hunt the elusive Graves. But meanwhile, down bot, we have a fight, and it's Dragon at the moment. When isolated from the team, not in range of a lot of this damage, but this is a bit of a coin flip on the Drake as they do get the stun off, prompting another cleanse, but too late for Whale to really do anything about it as Bei claims the kill. 665 is still on the Dragon. He gets it. Mission complete, but he dies for his effort, and now Bei's got 2.
Hey, I mean, they got what they came for, but once more, the cost was hefty. It's a double kill into the hands of Bei. And with how much HP he is going to build up here, he is going to be a very difficult target to burst out. And that's kind of what this MFT composition is built around. But the big thing is, I don't think Epoch has Aftershock. He goes in here. Let me see. He goes in. Okay, he does have Aftershock, but it's clearly not enough as they
He got after shook, dude.
Yeah, he just got blasted.
I love how 665's like, all right, this whole thing's scuffed. I'm getting Dragon. See you guys at Fountain.
Guys, I have one goal only, and I've obtained it.
Yeah.
See you later.
Like, they're building a Drake stack. I'll give them that. Also, one critical thing we haven't really talked about with this Tristana is you can destroy tower plates. But you got to be around to live for it. Yeah, as soon as he sees Unified coming, it's time to go. Also,
so long.
Oh dear, Realm
Bye-bye.
Warp, and he is just, yeah, he dead. Goodbye.
Hey, gone. Yep.
Unfortunate.
That's the issue with the Tristana, is that she doesn't get the ability to shove out in this lane because of the fact that Abe is ahead, which means that he's not that scared of Wen anymore. Also, having that additional range at level 11 for that ultimate helps out considerably in making faster rotations. Hanabi is coming under fire, but this time Juhan. Oh, okay, they still want to get him.
I don't know about this one. The kick. Oh, the flash away from Juhan. However, he is a little bit under fire. The chains are going to land, and that should be the kill for 665. But the rest of the cavalry has arrived at base, just unloading damage after damage after damage. But Taco comes in to try, and even the odds right now. The dunk on Hanabi, not enough damage. They are just chasing them through. But Wen might give his life for this one as the tower keeps coming in. Meanwhile, Kaiwi's still holding the rest of them at bay. MFT, they just go way behind enemy lines to clean up 2 kills. Hard earned.
All right, that was a pretty buck wild play, and I fully enjoyed that one as MFT understand that right now they are in a bit of a deficit, so they have to go really crazy with some of these calls. They have to really reach for these kills, and this time it pays off. They hang around, and it looks like it's like, come on guys, you can't secure any of these kills, but they continue to persist. And persistence pays off here, as now Epoch flashes over the wall. He tries to secure one more, but unfortunately, he doesn't get much. But the rest of his squad are able to.
Yeah, and the fact they don't get punished for that, I think PSG just didn't expect the level of sustained aggression. You saw that Unified was nowhere near that as he was split pushing down the side lane. He had already secured tier 1. PSG are going to get a little sneaky themselves. It's starting to set up a death rush here, but they don't stay in it for long. Have to respect that MFT sometimes just do the crazy stuff. 6-3 in kills. The gold game hasn't really extended past the moment it's at, which is about a 2K and a bit of change lead for PSG Talon. Next objective to hit the Rift is going to be that Infernal Drake, and we do have Infernal Rift. This is a pretty big one, especially for a squad that's going to want a team fight. I think despite MFT's unorthodox champion choices, they certainly want to group 5v5.
They pretty much have one shot to have a 5v5, and they have to pick that opportunity carefully, because if they lose it, then it's pretty much done dusted. They're gonna try and burst Unified. He's that close to a wall!
Oh, wow, that was perfectly executed. Wen and Whale combo up to take Unified down. Did not expect that one. Now, will they be able to? Well, they're perfectly fine. They actually just dropped the Rift Herald, looking to take down tier 1 mid here.
This is massive, Pyra.
Yeah, this is a big play. MFT are showing they still have some teeth. We talked about how they kind of got exposed and seemed to only have one style. Well, they clearly have proved the haters wrong here. They're mixing things up a bit, and it is throwing PSG off.
Oh, that's the hook used from Epoch. Perhaps they look for a Leona ult here to try and go for a pick, but now dragging up in 25 seconds. So MFT, if they're able to secure this dragon, that will be critical in trying to get this upset victory here, because that sets them up for a soul point, and you know, with the additional power from Inferno Dragon, then you can kind of talk about, well, maybe we have a chance in these later game 5v5s, but for now, we'll see if they're able to win this one.
Yeah, you got to respect the PSG charge right now as they were backing off. 665 is going to take a position a little closer to the Dragon bit. It has started. They're going to aggro it. When is the safest one to be behind the line? And now PSG are taking their time about this. It's already down to half.
Oh,
we've already seen 665 attempt to just secure it at all costs. They do. Will they get out with their lives? They've got the stun down onto the jungler. 665 is going to get blown up before it can do a whole lot of anything. But the rest of the team is there. No, the dump down. The takedown. Juhan. Kazaka walk away. They're going to try for this one. Look at the decimating smash. Not going to do enough. They're dodging and ducking and diving away. Epic is going to be left for dead, and Wen is going to be chased down by Unified. That is going to be the ace for one. But MFT do manage to grab themselves a Drake.
Once again, they come and get what they came for. Pyra. But, as
they get a lot more than what they came for.
After each and every single one of these plays where they get what they came for, what is the cost? And the cost is every single time just way too much. And
it's
this
like tuition, man.
Exactly. You come for education, you go into 20 years of debt.
Well, that's America at least. Anyways, that's not where this region is. We've got 665. Like, he is the ultimate soldier here, man. He's going for the play. He doesn't care. He knows it's a suicide mission, and he does it anyways. Focus? You gotta respect it. But yeah, after this point, it's like headless chickens. They've got nothing. You see them trying, but it's just easy pickings for a squad like PSG that just have so much better coordination, even with two new players.
I think all three of their damage dealers were focused on 3 different targets on the side of PSG, so it was just completely absolute chaos coming in from MFT when it came to target selection. And that just makes it difficult when your compositions solely focus on bursting one target at a time. You have to unload all your cooldowns and damage on a single target, and hopefully you get a clean reset and it allows you to turn to the next one. In that case, they got the first kill, but definitely weren't able to get much afterwards because they got completely wiped. And now, like, this Ryze is definitely getting out of hand. Has a very large health pool, and this tank Ryze from ahead is incredibly oppressive because he just runs at you, and because you're behind, you don't have the damage to burst through a target that has a lot more stats than what he should.
Yeah, that's one of the issues, is that Ryze can still kind of get that machine gun online even in the tank mode. And also, to top it off, Unified's kind of been unleashed here. He was sort of held a little bit at bay, you know, wasn't quite popping off in the kills, but that changed now that he was able to chase down a couple of players. He's got 3, the Trinity Force and the Titanic Hydra's out. Bay's solo pushing on the side. Yeah, things are starting to come apart at the seams here for Meta Falcon team. The only saving grace is they are on Soul Point. If they can hold out for 2 minutes, that is a chance. That is a very good dragon to have when you want to take a fight and you are losing the scaling game.
Yeah, it's going to add a little bit of damage for the side of Meta Falcon team. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough damage to erase the gold deficit. That remains to be seen. But we get to see the player gold pulled up here, and I mean, it's Zeri, it's Ryze, very, very high up the gold net worth charts. And on the flip side, it's the Darius and the Tristana trying to do as much as they can, but still, even they are 1,500 gold behind the highest grossing members on the side of PSG.
Yeah, PSG definitely banking it all up right now. And they will just look to try and keep MFT away from this dragon. Of course, there's also Baron to contend with right now, but neither team seems all that keen to go for a shred. If one was going to do it, it's probably PSG, but why would they, right? Like, they have the time on their side. They just need to let MFT come to them and make the mistake. And that's the key here, is every fight that Meta Falcon team are going to take, it's probably going to be on PSG's terms.
Yeah, for PSG, they can go ahead and try and bait around the Baron. For MFT, it's very hard for them to try and sneak a Baron, just because they don't have anyone that can really tank up the Baron without taking massive damage. And really the only member of their team that does damage to the Baron is going to be this Tristana. And Tristana, yes, she has Kraken Slayer, Phantom Dancer, which is a really nice combination to, once again, delete a single target. But do you have a member tanky enough to be able to endure the damage coming out from that Baron? All eyes on this next dragon, though, Pyra. 18 seconds, 15 seconds, and
everybody teleports in.
their game is predicated or going to be decided on this fight.
Yeah, look at all the vision that PSG have managed to get inside the Meta Falcon team jungle. They see Taco coming a mile away, and Kaiwing goes in. Epic is going to go golden for a second, but 665 is going to drop like absolutely nothing. Epic gets blown through. Hanabi is distracting everybody else, and the fight is over before it begins. Goodbye, Whale. Goodbye, Taco. And goodbye, Meta Falcon team. That is going to be everybody but Wen taken out of this one. Wait a minute, I might have spoke too soon. Wen wants to harass Juhan just a little bit, but nothing doing here. They don't just take the Baron, they can probably grab both at this point. And it's not Nexus yet, Nightstar, but it's starting to feel like it.
Yep, starting to queue up the eulogies right now because, I mean, MFT, you like the thought process, you like the fact that they're at least changing the plan from before, but yeah, I mean, Inferno Dragon's still technically up. So MFT I mean, he was hoping to maybe sneak it away, but that's not going to work out. And we get to see the replay. I mean, at this point, like, you don't really have a front line in Epoch because your other frontline champion, and the Darius, he has to come in from flank to actually be useful. So he's just spending the entire time set up for this fight, trying to find a flank angle. And, I mean, again, Rise from Ahead, incredibly impressive with this tank build. It's really when it's even or behind that it really falls flat.
Yeah, and you could see in the picture-in-picture as well that PSG made short work of the Meta Falcon team resistance on the Dragon, picked it up for themselves, were able to back away. Big Zeri damage coming through, and I believe that was actually the Dragon fight that we were looking at there. Unless Darius really didn't get a single shot off, which I guess I wouldn't be all that surprised by. Kaiwing really setting up these engages on this Leona, though. It's kind of what he does. It works out well, and this is going to be the death knell for sure, unless MFT have a miracle of a fight in them. But oh, it gets so hard. They weren't able to secure the soul. The Baron pushing in. They've got Hanabi on the side lane, just making life difficult, and it won't end on this push, but it does feel like it's only a matter of time.
They're going to push two lanes at once. There's really just no answers coming in from MFT. The only way that they can get back into this game is some sort of flash engage, but they're out of a lot of key flashes on their engaged champion, so...
And they're out of towers almost. Yeah. Meanwhile, that's the kickback. Kaiwing denied, but now there's no chance for 665 to make the kickback into his team. Down goes an inhibitor in the middle, and... it's wash, rinse, repeat for PSG Talon, well on their way to a 5th victory in 6 games. Not the perfect split or near enough dominant PSG that we were seeing in last year, but with a new couple of players, they are certainly well on their way to reclaiming the title if they can but take out the teams right above them. We'll have to see when those two teams face. I'm getting ahead of myself in this one, Nightstar, because right now they are definitely flexing on Meta Falcon team.
Yeah, and if Meta Falcon team want to get back in, Whale has to do so much damage. Goes for the recall. Not sure what he... okay, he got one more crit cloak. So a little bit more crit damage, but PSG, they get the maximum what they want. And remember, this is a very controlled squad, so they don't go for the end straight up right there. They get so many advantages that they don't need to. They're going to go home. They're going to spend that extra gold first and really end the game on this next Dragon fight.
Yeah, that does seem to be the play. So 27 minutes, they are taking their time to do it, not trying to push too far ahead and risk the comeback mechanics that we have seen before. Meta Falcon team going to be looking at the game footage and trying to see what they can glean from this one, because they had an opportunity. They did have a timer that they imposed upon themselves, but giving away the Zeri, I feel like the draft certainly needs to be addressed for this team. They've given away a little bit too much in some of these cases, and against a squad like PSG, with some very, very strong members in key roles, it sometimes feels like an unforgivable crime.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Wen has gone for a utility build coming in from
Everfrost.
From this LeBlanc. It's not only just the Everfrost, you can argue that Everfrost allows you to get more picks and they need picks, but it's the fact that he's gone for a second item Zanya's, which doesn't help you in securing picks. It's a nice defensive item, but at this point in the game, you need kills rather than staying alive just a fraction of a second longer, because you're not going to last very long regardless. Right when you come out of stasis, you're just dead again. So I'm a little bit baffled by that purchase, because they need the best chance to one-shot one of these carries.
Speaking of one-shot, oh, goodbye, Epic. At this point, things are looking dire as Unified just rolls ahead with the rest of the squad, looking to go for one, go for two. 665 never gets a chance to kick in this one. Oh boy, they're bringing everybody to this one, and now I do believe the term is ending here, Nightstar. School is out, but MFT are going to have to take remedial courses as they get taken down a peg by PSG, improving to 5 wins on the split, just under 29 minutes.
Nice victory coming in from PSG, once again showing their dominance over the bottom half of the table. And I mean, to make a case for the top of the standings, you do have to take care of business towards the bottom of the standings. So for them to do so in this dominating fashion against all of the bottom 5 teams is really, really impressive still.
Absolutely. As you see the look on the faces of MFT, I don't think they quite believed that one. Although they were behind for so much of the game, PSG Talon definitely flexing their muscles and showing they can still compete amongst the top 4. The big challenge ahead for this squad will be to try and knock off one of the top dogs, and I feel like that is far easier said than done when it comes to CTBC and Deep Cross Gaming, but you never know, Nightstar.
Yeah, and I think it's really good from like PSG for them to take care of business. That's obviously good, but it also allows them to kind of hide a couple of their cards, right? They haven't necessarily shown a whole lot from the draft phase when it comes to going into these next couple of matches. So that will also be nice for them to perhaps come out with a surprise in their first next big test here coming up. As we get to take a look at the draft, it really just comes down to, well, you give away the Zeri pick, you try and counter it with the Tristana, it doesn't pay off. It all of a sudden allows Rise to snowball, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I mean that was the trick, right? I mean I think that was the best Rise game we've seen from Bay, but also most of his Rise games have kind of just been him running around the map and not necessarily getting off to a flying start. He was able to have a very good game by virtue of just being so far ahead of his opposite number, never having to worry about dying. I think Hanabi played perfectly in his role. Like, he just needed not to die to the Darius. And yeah, he did die, but like, I mean, once. That's okay. That's forgivable. It's understandable. He also just kind of kited the rest of MetaFalcon team around the map in the fights. He was sort of using himself as live bait the whole time and just like trying to get MFT to like chase him, and they did, and he just kept dodging away from them. The rest of the squad, I mean, Kaiwing on these Leona engages. I swear, when he plays Leona, the Zenith blade is like 3 inches longer. It always feels like he finds the perfect distance to go in at.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiwing on the Leona is definitely a masterclass on how to play melee support engage champions. And I mean, still, I want to give credit to Bay because he brought out the tank rise and was able to really pop off on the champion this game. So credit to him and being able to really take advantage and snowball his lead. A lot of the issues that come with playing tank rise is sometimes you get a little bit too passive, and when you wait as the tank rise, it gives the opportunity for the other team to outscale you. Fortunately, in this instance, there really wasn't a whole lot of scaling to be done on the side of MetaFalcon team. And I mean, I think Bay understood that, and that gave him extra juice to just chase him down.
And gave him the MVP as well. Well deserved by Bay. I think we're starting to see the fact that PSG have really weapons in every side of the map. We were wondering about Bay. We were wondering when this was going to be a more carry-oriented style. Obviously, he's still tank rise. Don't want to forget that. But he was able to step up and deliver when given the right tools to succeed. Also liked his other champions, the Cinder game. That's been good too. I think Bay is got quite a bright future ahead of himself if he can keep up this level of performance.
PSG setting up themselves up to succeed. And we'll see going into week number 3 how well they're able to, how much experience they were able to get from those 2 weeks of live action and transition that into a much more difficult half of their first round robin.
Absolutely. All right, we have got one more game left, and it is going to be an absolute banger. 2 undefeated teams will enter. Only one will leave. CTBC Flying Oyster versus our last undefeated team, DCG, coming up next. Don't go anywhere.